Okay, good evening, everyone. Okay, I can see familiar faces. Alexei, hello. Yes, welcome, everyone. So, can you hear us? Can you see us? Yes, you can write plus in the comments if everything is fine. And thank you for joining today. So today we're going to talk about relocation, and we're going to discuss some interesting points about relocation. And today we're joined by our guest speaker, Nikita. Please welcome our speaker. Nikita is an IT specialist and also our across student. And today he'll be talking about his relocation experience, his working experience, and we are also welcome. We're glad to hear questions from you. So if you have any questions for him, for Nikita, or if you have any comments or any comments about your experience, you're also welcome to share, to unmute yourself and speak to us or write in the chat, whatever is convenient for you. But we will be glad to see you and to hear you talk to us. Okay, so let's get started. Nikita, thank you for joining today. So let's get to know you a little bit. And could you please introduce yourself and your background? So, what was your experience before relocation?
Hi everyone, my name is Nikita and I've been working in iOS development for over 7 years, and most of my life I lived in Moscow and Krasnodar, but in 2022 I moved to Cyprus. I had an opportunity to move with an employer, but eventually I switched my employer there in Cyprus. And since then, I lived in different locations such as Georgia, Cyprus again, in Italy, and finally I moved to Spain, to Barcelona.
Mhm. Okay, sounds good. So, how were you choosing the country for relocation? Why did you choose Spain?
Uh, to be honest, I heard about this easy kind of application for Spanish digital nomad visa, and at that moment it was a little bit easier than it is now. And I just heard about this from my friend, and also my colleague already relocated from Cyprus to Spain, and I known his path from Cyprus to Spain, and I asked him questions, and also he shared some prepared documents about the company. So that one of the reasons is because it was easier to move to Europe, and another reason is because uh, it's easy to travel from here. Uh, it's cheaper and more available than from Cyprus, for example. And also, if you have residence here, you can, without any restrictions, visit any European country, and it's not like residence in Cyprus.
That sounds good. Yeah, it gives you a lot of opportunities for traveling. Could you tell us in more detail what was the process like? How did you apply for that kind of nomad visa?
Um, Basically, you need to qualify for this to have enough income to have all the required documents, and also you need to translate them with special certified translator of Spain. And as I said before, it was easier. They didn't even require so many documents and translations, and now they almost require this special translation with apostle for every document. So it's more difficult to, especially I had a big employment agreement, 21 pages, and it was the most expensive part of preparing all the documents. So, did I miss anything?
Yes, yes, that sounds good. So you need to get everything translated, even all the whole document, working contract.
Yes, with I needed to translate it to Spanish, and I don't know the exact list of documents now, but I think it's a little bit more difficult, or it requires more effort to gather everything.
I see. Okay, so guys, if you have any comments about the requirements or documents, you are welcome to raise your hand or ask in the chat. So if everything is unclear and you want to know more, please go ahead and ask your question, because this is a very interesting type of visa. There are some requirements, right? And who is your employer? What company is this?
My employer is it has two names. One is Aramim, which is Arabic name, and To You, which is English translation from that name. And it's a delivery app from Saudi Arabia, and it's development based in Cyprus. So where I employed.
Okay. That's interesting. And what exactly do you do for this company, for this app? What's your position?
I'm an senior iOS developer. I develop different features, really different features. It can be payment or some visual feature like live activity, which is a little thing for showing delivery status for your order. At a glance, you can see what's happening. Not like usual push notifications, for example.
Okay.
Interesting fact that most of our technical employees are from, so to speak, Soviet Union descent, like Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, and we often communicate in Russian. Probably that was like cheating. I used to relocate, and it made my life a little bit easier. But we write mostly, and at some meetings we use English.
Sounds good, of course. But do you have any also international foreign team members besides people from Soviet Union?
Yeah, sure. We have almost 700 employees, and most of them are Arabic speaking people, but they, of course, also speak English. And we have Cypriot colleagues, and I don't know, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Egypt. I don't know, actually. There are many places globally. We have many remote workers. Few of my colleagues live in Spain. Somebody lives even in Luxembourg or in Russia also. So almost any place on the globe.
Okay, and that's wonderful. You truly have an international team, so you can practice your English as well. And what about the requirements for the visa? I mean, does it have any expiration date, or how long is it valid, your digital nomad visa?
Yeah, usually it is given for 3 years, but it's also tied to a certificate of social insurance. It's different for different countries. For example, in Russia, it's one type of certificate, but in Cyprus, it was different kind of certificate. And we got the residence for 2.5 years, approximately, like 2 years and 8 months. But usually they allow to stay at least for 3 hours or 3 years, and with possible extension for 2 more years. And after 5 years, you can also apply to long-term visa, and you can stay as long as you want. If you don't want to get a passport of Spain, it's available after 10 years of living in Spain.
Okay, so you should live in Spain for 10 years legally, and then you'll be able to apply for a passport.
Yes.
Okay. All right, sounds good. So, and where exactly are you living? What city, what place?
I live in Barcelona. It's a little bit complicated to say what neighborhood, because it's kind of in between 3 areas, and it has difficult Catalan names. I can't pronounce some of them, so it's somewhere which is called Zona Alta, which is like upper part, closer to the mountains, and it's almost like luxurious neighborhood, but not really. But it's not as touristy as center, or if I lived in closer to the sea, for example.
Okay, but if you want to get to the city center, to the main tourist spots, how long does it take?
30 to 40 minutes, but actually we don't go there very often. We kind of have PTSD of living in such area, because we lived the first month in so-called El Raval neighborhood. It's old and very touristy place. I say it's touristy is bad in my opinion, because it's a little bit more expensive, and it wasn't clean there, and the infrastructure is not as modern as in other parts, and we didn't have a good impression when we were living there, and we almost decided not to live in Spain after trying to live there. So after we changed the apartment, it was very high contrasts, sharp contrasts between old and new area.
I see. So you didn't have a good experience at first. And we have a question from Alexei. So Alexei is asking, why have you chosen Barcelona? And what other places did you see?
To be honest, I haven't seen a lot of other cities and countries of Europe. We lived in Girona, which is also Catalonia, part of Spain. It's a smaller city, and it's not as expensive as Barcelona, and very serene city, and a lot of greenery there. but we decided that it's going to be less interesting to live there for a long time, and we thought we will get bored by living there for more than 2 or 3 months, and we aimed for something bigger because I lived the previous few years in Moscow, and after living in Moscow, I didn't want to stay in small city, because in Cyprus I didn't have all the things that are available in a big city. Did I answer your question?
Yes. I think that's understandable. Like Alexei is typing some other question. Well, and what can you say about IT events? Alexei is asking, do you participate in IT events?
Actually, no. I used to go on some meetups in Cyprus, but here I think I missed most of the conferences because of the initial kind of settlement, preparing all the documents after moving here. And yeah, maybe I know, for example, there is a annual conference for iOS developers, which is called NS Spain, and developers from all over the world come here and have interesting presentations, and I think networking is at a high bar here. But actually, I did not go to local events and conferences also.
Well, but yes, Barcelona sounds like a big hub where you can get a lot of networking and meet different specialists. But Tatiana is asking about your free time. How often do you go to the beach?
Approximately once a year. I'm not a big fan of a beach, but my wife is, and I think this year we are going to explore more beaches here, not as like the most public and big beach here, which has a lot of visitors, and it's not as nice. It's only nice if you walk there, not swimming or.
Is it far from you?
Pretty much, yes. It's almost 1 hour of walking distance, but for example, you can take a bicycle. There is a very affordable bicycle rental service. You can access them from your phone and leave it at the spot and travel. You can move by the city using a bicycle or metro, but we usually just walk. We don't even use metro.
Okay, nice. And one more question. Do you know anything about schools for kids?
Not really. We don't have kids, and I'm not sure if I really know about schools here.
Okay, but yeah, I'm sure there are many schools there and many international schools because Barcelona is such a huge city. So I think it's possible to find really good, maybe English schools as well. Okay, so let's move to some other questions from our participants. Ivan is asking, do you have a car? Is it easy with the USSR driver license?
I don't drive at all, but I would say it's not very easy to get by with USSR driving license. Some people don't really care. They use their license all the time, but I think it's allowed to use it for 6 months before you need to pass an exam again here. But I'm not sure. I think it's not required to have a lot of hours to actually go to that exam.
Okay, so you usually just walk around the city and you don't even use any transport?
Sometimes taxi, but one thing is that it's not very cheap. And another thing that I don't know if it's a Spanish thing, but drivers here are very not very gentle drivers.
Dangerous drivers.
Yeah, reckless, I would say.
I see. And I think we all want to know about the level of prices. So what can you say about the expenses, the rent in Barcelona?
The rent in Barcelona almost the most expensive for the Spain, especially now it's difficult to find an apartment. Maybe in Madrid it's more expensive. That's why we didn't go there. But in Valencia, for example, it's more affordable and you get almost the same size of the city. And we didn't consider this city. I don't know why. It was kind of decision on a whim. We did not think it through. I wish we did. But prices, it's complicated to think of prices, like to compare. We used to always convert rubles to euros, and we couldn't understand this meaning. But actually, what's most important is the value which you get for the money. And here, I think there are many high quality groceries. We go to the local market every week. There are many markets here in any neighborhood, almost any, and we were very surprised when we tried it because it's a little bit more expensive than in supermarkets, but it's much more value for the price, and it's like one of the best things here. The
Okay.
quality of groceries.
Okay, so to be precise, Pavel is asking, how much money exactly do you spend for a month for living in Barcelona?
I do count.
Do you count? Yeah, do you have an Excel table?
Yeah, I think we spent around 700 to 800 euro for 2 people. It includes groceries, visiting some bar or restaurant a few times, even a week, maybe some coffee or some pastry, for example. And maybe it's not the exact number, but it's around this. We aim for 700, but usually it's like 800, 750. It doesn't include payments for electricity and water and internet and I don't know, for taxi, for example.
I see, but I think it still sounds reasonable. Okay, and plus rent the apartment, right?
Yeah, the rent is the most painful part of the expenses, even though we were able to find a good apartment for its price, but it's more expensive than Cyprus. But at the end, I think it's worth it to
I think
stay.
I think everyone will agree with you that apartment rent is the most part of your expenses. Yes, and you also mentioned that it's easier to travel somewhere around Europe, right? So Pavel is asking, where did you travel from Spain?
We usually go straight to Italy, but we also visited France because it's easy to go there even by bus or a train. It's very common to move here. Actually, there is a French region of Catalonia, which was part of the Catalonia before joining the Spain. Or I'm not that good in history, but in Barcelona, people speak Spanish and Catalan, but it's not the Catalonia. Is not only part of Spain. It's also goes beyond the border to the French part. But they surprisingly they don't speak Catalan there. They speak mostly French.
Mhm.
We
Okay.
went also to Austria. What else? Usually it's actually Italy, but different parts of Italy.
So Italy is your favorite destination for vacation.
I learned this from my wife because she's a big fan of Italy.
I see. Okay, so our next question, do you want to stay in Spain for a long time, or are you thinking about a new relocation to some other place?
We are thinking about the relegation because for mobile developers, there are not a lot of employers that are willing to pay more than we need. For example, in Germany or Netherlands, our salaries are much higher, and I think it's a big minus for Spain. If you're a mobile developer, salaries here are not that good. And also there is a thing in Spain. There are such so-called people, ocupas, or squatters in English, who can take your apartment if you are outside, if you're left. But the problem is that you are protected by the law if it's your only apartment. If it's your second or third apartment, it's very difficult to fight your apartment back. You will need to spend years in the court, and at the end, the apartment might be destroyed, and that's a big minus for Spain.
Okay, yeah, that sounds really unusual. All right. And what other facts can you tell us about Spain that people should really be aware of before relocating, before making this decision?
In terms of taxes, I think it's important to understand how it works and to go only to trusted consultants, because we tried a few of them, and no matter how much they charge you for the consultation, they can leave you with more questions than you had before, and it's not very nice thing.
So how does it work exactly? What kind of consultants do they help you with the relocation, with documents, or with job search?
This is another kind of consultants which were good. We were lucky to have a good assistance for relocation, but as I mentioned, the tax consultants weren't prepared for the consultation. I still don't know some answers for the questions I had a year ago. So be careful with choosing a consultant. Also, there are different taxation systems, like bracket tiered taxation, which is common, and another so-called Beckham's law, which is created for people who work abroad but live in Spain. It allows you to pay 24% of the tax and not to report anything outside of Spain. If you have dividends or if you sell stocks, for example, you don't have to even tell to government, so to speak, that you did that, because they don't care if you get this kind of condition, special condition. So, and it's only work if you have employment contracts, if employment agreements. If you have a service contract, you can't actually apply for this.
So is it possible in general, if you're working for a Russian company, is it possible to get a nomad visa and live in Spain using this visa?
Yes, I heard it is possible, and also they can accept the salary if it's in rubles. It's fine for them. It just has to be enough for the minimal wage of the Spain. You have to pass this requirement. I'm not sure how much it is now. It's like 3,000 euro for two people, probably. I'm not sure, but it's tied to the minimal wage.
So even if you're working for a Russian company, if you get at least 3,000 euro, then it's possible for you to live in Spain, right?
Legally, yes, but actually, maybe not, because in Barcelona, I think it's probably going to be living to to zero without any discretionary income.
All right. Okay. Do you know any other possibilities for this type of visa? So if we're talking about Cyprus or some other European countries, have you done any research on that?
One of my friends relocated to Spain using startup visa, but it was a different thing because they did not check if you have money to support that business. They accepted even fake statements, but now you really have to do something closer to innovative projects. But it doesn't have to be very innovative. Also, there are passive income visa probably. Like if you rent a few apartments in Russia, I heard such stories. You can qualify for passive income visa, and you just need a certificate that you own this apartment and that you have a rental agreement that you get passive income from this.
Sounds interesting. Okay. And you still have to pay taxes in Spain, right? If you get money from Russian apartments.
Probably yes, but I'm not sure it's the same amount of same percentage. Maybe it's less.
Yeah, there are many rules. I think we have to really learn more about the rules of the certain programs, certain visa. But also, how about the general atmosphere? Do you feel any language barrier? How do you deal with it? Do you speak Spanish or do you use English to go to the shop, to the restaurant?
I do feel some language barrier because some people don't speak English at all, and some of them don't even speak Spanish. But the good thing that people are very nice to you, and they illustrate with hands anything they try to explain to you, and they are very friendly, and I think they're genuinely interested in building relationship. Even when we go to the local market, they ask, where exactly are you from? Like, oh, it's Russia, it's very cold, for example. But they like usually ask things that, how to say such thing in Russian, for example. Maybe it's not a good example, but it's actually a good thing. What can I also add here? As I said, people are friendly and always willing to help you. And if you ask them how to say something in Spanish, they will explain how to say that, or difference in Spanish or Catalan words. And that's very inviting to stay here, to spend some time, and people gives some energy, even if you interact with in basic situation like buying a croissant or some pastry. You are leaving this place with better mood than you had before. And I'm saying this as I'm not an extrovert. I'm not usually getting more energy from speaking to other people, but here it's like, if I have a bad mood, it's usually changed when I interact with people here.
I see. That's really nice. That's you don't feel any pressure in terms of language. But do you know any other Russians? Alexei is asking, do you contact with other Russians in Barcelona? How often?
Recently, our friends relocated here, and they're from Ural, from Yekaterinburg, and they live here only for 2 months. But we are glad that we have somebody here who from the same country as we are. But it's not difficult to find somebody with the same interests as you if you want to find such people. But we didn't have such a goal, probably. We usually hear a lot of Russian speech here in parks on the street, but they're not like our acquaintances or friends. So if that was the question, maybe. So
Yeah, because almost every place has a huge Russian community. For example, we have guys from Serbia, and they told me that Serbia and Belgrade has a really huge Russian community, and they have chats, they have meetups. So I think also if you want to, you can find that in Barcelona, but you don't follow any groups or chats with Russian-speaking people, right?
I have like 3 main chats or 4. One for taxes, one for any topic, and one for relocation. And usually you can ask people there, and they're very friendly. Sometimes they give very valuable information that I couldn't get from consultants. So I recommend joining the chats if you are planning to go to Spain.
Yes, exactly. You can get a lot of useful information from other people like you. But let's return a little bit back to your application process. And Pavel is asking, what main difficulties did you meet during the process of applying for nomad visa and relocation?
Mm.
Any
Well,
challenges, maybe, or that
I
was
remember
easy?
one thing that if you're applying, it's done through a website, and you need a electronic uh, certificate. Is it called like this? You need to apply online, and you have to um, attach uh, the proof that you entered the Spain. And if you enter the Spain not, if you enter the European Union not from the Spain, you most likely won't have any stamps in your passport. And we entered through France, and it was the main obstacle, I think, that we had, because we only in the fourth police station we went to. Only in fourth police station we could get the stamp for the form for the application to get this proof that we actually stay in Spain.
But other than that, while applying, you didn't face any challenges, so everything was quite easy back then.
Our assistants assured us that everything will be okay. Maybe because we had this good case, which is good for application. I think it's difficult if you have a business with unstable income. It's difficult to prove that you have constant income. But if you are employed and you have enough income, also it works for a few members of the family. You can sum up your incomes to apply.
I see. Okay, so good for you. Good that you had this good case for applying for nomad visa. But guys, if you would like to apply for a visa, maybe for a job at an international company, then we have an offer for you, and we are inviting you to join our courses. We actually have a course English for relocation. So if you want to move to another country, but you don't know if your English is good enough for this, so you can join our across English for relocation course, and we will also boost your English. Or if you want to boost your technical level, technical English, you can also join our tech people course or even job interviews. So in general, if you want to get some feedback from us, or you want to learn more about your current level, you can also visit our trial lesson where we will tell you more about the level and how to move to your goal. So, and also subscribe to our channel, across channel on Telegram and Instagram, to get more interesting information and insights from there. And also, I wanted to ask you, Nikita, what English level is a must in your company? What English level is required to communicate with international colleagues, with Arab people, and so on?
Yeah, I think intermediate is more than enough. Especially in technical department, I think it's not. I mean, it's important, but it's not like if you are high-level manager, you have to have some good level of knowledge. But if you can write documentation, if you know how to create a task, for example, with description, and I think it's already a good level to have. I think intermediate is more than enough.
Okay, sounds good. And did you have any English test when you were joining the company? Did they have any internal test or speaking or writing?
We had a part of an interview where we spoke some English, but it wasn't a problem at that moment, even though it was 2 years ago. And since then, I didn't have any problems.
Yes, good for you, because you have a really high English level. So I think for you, that's more than enough right now. Do you have any openings, job openings in your current company? Maybe you're looking for some specialists and you can share with us.
I think there are open positions for quality assurance, automation specialists, and for product manager, but the product manager is required to reside in Saudi Arabia. So probably it's not the best thing for everyone.
Yes. Not applicable to us right now. Yes, but quality assurance. Okay. Do you know any other requirements for the successful candidate?
Usually it's technical requirements. It's like if you have skills, they're open for the discussion, and I think it's possible to get the job if you have the appropriate level of skills.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. Yes, and so what is your main your general impression about Spain? Do you enjoy living there? Or maybe you have some pros and cons or some disadvantages that you.
Mostly we enjoy living here. We don't really often leave this area. We have a nice parks here, and it's good to walk by and to think outside of the work, to disconnect. And people here actually live their life more than, for example, we spend more time at work, and here people don't really do that. They have some work-life balance. Maybe that's why they live 90 years here.
Okay, so this is a nice recipe for a good work-life balance. Move to Spain. Wow, okay. And how about weather? Is it hot in summer? Is it cold in winter? How do you deal with it?
Yes, it's hot in summer, but I'm used to it after Krasnodar and after Cyprus. In Cyprus, it was even more hot, even hotter than here. But in winter, there are no central heating, and if you are used to central heating system, it will take you some time to adapt because in winter it's more humid. You feel the cold weather much more than usual, and um, we wear more clothes at home, and sometimes you have to sleep in many clothes. And I know some people use heaters or electric sheets or for the bed, and we didn't try that, but it's not as nice as having a very warm temperature at home that you want to open the window, like in Russia, for example.
Exactly. Yeah, that is a common problem for the countries that have quite a mild climate and not very cold winters. Yeah, you feel uncomfortable at home. But what about siesta? Alexei is asking, is it a problem?
I don't know, because as far as I understand, siesta is time of the day or time of the year when nothing works. But I think we got used to this after Cyprus, because there you can try to go to the pharmacy and it's closed after 1 p.m. or it doesn't exist anymore, only on Google Maps. Here, the biggest problem, I would say, if you want to go to buy groceries, it's very difficult on Sundays. Most of the supermarkets are closed. Some of them work until 12 or until 13, but usually only local mini markets are available, like which are opened by people from Pakistani descent. They are having a lot of business here in this sphere.
Okay, so if you want to go to a supermarket, it's better to go before Sunday if you need something.
To plan for the Saturday, for example, or before the weekends.
Okay, that sounds good. But mainly you don't face any challenges, right?
Sometimes, in terms of groceries, sometimes we have to run to the supermarkets. But challenges, I don't know. The biggest challenge is taxes and this legal thing. Other things, I don't know.
Other
You
things
can,
are okay.
sorry?
Other things are okay, yeah?
Yeah, you can receive anything from anywhere. I mean, the post, or you can order from any other part of the world.
Okay.
Actually, the problem exists again if you receive some transfers of the money. You will have to explain its origin, but it's also about the taxes, actually.
I see. I understand that. Okay, so if you have any final questions, guys, you can ask Nikita while we're still here. Okay, our final question. What products that are usual in Russia you cannot find in Spain? Did you have to change your eating habits because of that?
Sometimes we really need a buckwheat, grechka, but there are some stores which sell Russian products. You can buy sour cream, the buckwheat, cottage cheese. It's different here, a little bit different. If you buy cottage cheese in supermarkets, in Spanish supermarkets, it's more like a creamy type of cottage cheese. You can even get the red caviar for the new year if you want. It's possible here. Did we change eating habits? I think we started trying more local products. For example, they have, if not 6 types of tomato paste you can use for cooking, like fried tomatoes. I don't know the many details about this, but I know there are many flavors of tomato sauce which are useful in cooking, or you can add it to your food, which is nice actually. It's very affordable and very high quality. There are many types of cheese which are like a steal, very cheap and affordable, and you can get cheap cheese like any other cheese in the supermarket, and it's very fresh and tasty.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, I think that brings us to the end of our today's discussion. Thank you, Nikita, so much for telling us about your experience. Yes, that was really interesting. And thank you guys for your questions, for your active participation. And we hope you learned something new today. So if you are planning to relocate to Spain, you can ask Nikita and he will tell you and give you some more recommendations. Right. And thank you for your time. And we wish you a very nice evening. And we will be glad to see you in our future classes, our speaking clubs. All right. So have a nice evening, everyone. And see you next time.